Welcome back. Now, let's go to Cross River State, where the governor there, Professor Ben Ayade, as you all know, is an eccentric figure who's, of course, full of drama and would naturally give you beautiful sound bites. Sound bites, of course, that every journalist like me would really love. Now, the governor is in the news again, and this time he literally cried before the cameras, lamenting the condition of the people he governs. Specifically, he was lamenting the tax burden on low-income earners in the state. Now, let me put this in clear perspective. The state has a tax law that exempts the very low-income earners in the state from paying tax. And it seems state government officials do not comply with the law as they breach it with seeming impunity to still collect taxes from these low-income earners who should enjoy the exemptions. Now, to address the issue, the governor had to set up what he named an anti-tax agency composed of religious leaders to go out there and educate the people, tell the people, not those low-income earners now, not to pay taxes. That's exactly what the governor did. So this is a body of religious leaders charged with the responsibility of going to all the local government areas in Cross River State, 18 of them, to let low-income earners know that they are exempt from paying tax. So now, the issue is the governor did not end there. At some point, he went emotional. Let's take a look at what he said.
Section 14, subsection 2 of our Constitution is very clear that the welfare and security of the citizens is the primary purpose of government. I'm a lawyer, I head a government, and I understand the law. And as a lawyer, I know that I have failed in truth, just like any other person, to deliver the welfare and security of my people at this time. I have therefore complete lack in terms of moral energy to stand before those people that I have failed to provide sufficient security and welfare, to in turn ask them to pay tax. If God sees into my heart, let him take every single wealth I have, if he can make every single Cross Riverian rich. If he can take every single Cross Riverian out of poverty, let Ben Ayade and the Ayades, let us be poor for Cross Riverians to be comfortable. It's my wish, because truly, truly, I never knew that 5 years into office as governor, I would still find somebody who could live in a thatch house in Cross River State. I almost cried because I knew how prepared I was, but it didn't end the way I had dreamt for the state. And I just think that somewhere God will just help me, because I really wish I could really help. I really wish I could help. It's very painful, truly, truly. I can't put 5 years and I've not been able to do the change I wished. Please help these people. I know of some small people whose businesses are closed, because even after signing into law that they should stop collecting tax, I still find people giving political appointment for a completely different thing. And you see them go back to these same people and dragging them and seizing and closing their shops and taxing. Why will a small person carry banana from his farm to go and sell, and produce people are there taxing him for produce? Why would somebody carry granite to go to market and somebody is putting a checkpoint on the road and collecting money from the granite seller? This is not Ben Ayade. This is not my nature. I am not wired for this insensitivity to a weaker person.
Well, let's quickly talk more about this now. Jalingo Agba, who is the publisher of Cross River Watch, an online publication based in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, now joins me on the program via Skype. Jalingo, thank you very much for joining us on the program. You look at that video, it appears to be a clear self-indictment by the governor.
I can't agree less with you, and that is what we have all been saying. And it is amazing that an opportunity came for the governor to just come out and say what he said. There's a mixed feeling inside of me. There's one part of me that wants to feel sorry for him. And there's another that wants to say that it is good for you after all.
Basically,
in 5 years,
we've
been trying to tell this governor that you are just not doing these things right. and he's been finding a problem with it. And it's good that he's coming out, and he's even going emotional. But don't be deceived by those tears, DEJI. This is not the first time Governor Ayade will be crying. I need to tell the public that this is not the first time. On the 17th of January 2017, it was a little less than 2 years after he took office. And he announced the abolition of taxes for low-income earners in Cross River State. That was 2017, 3 years ago. And on that occasion, he cried. And he warned every government official in Cross River State not to go near small businesses, particularly those that earn below 50,000 naira, to collect taxes.
But obviously, it seems they're still doing it.
Yeah, 3 years after, 70% of the businesses that operate in Cross River State have actually packed their loads and left the state because of multiple taxations. Because between when he made that statement and now, the number of taxes that they collect from them have actually multiplied, and that has been one of the most difficult things for businesses in the state, and several of them have left. And then DEJI, in August 2016, Governor Ayade visited Bakassi, and when he got to Bakassi, he saw the state and the squalor in which some of the IDPs were living, and Governor Ayade broke into tears. He cried and said he could give away his left hand to save the people of Bakassi, and he called on the federal government not to abandon them. He wept that day, but after he left, up till now, the people of Bakassi have still not been resettled. But that was also not all. In March 2017, Governor Ayade received a courtesy visit from the National Commissioner in charge of migrants, refugees, and the internationally displaced person, Hajia Sadia Farouk, of the United Nations, in his office in Calabar. And while addressing the woman, the commissioner, in the conference room in Calabar, he also broke down into tears. He wept very profusely and promised that he was going to do everything to resettle the people of Bakassi. He berated the federal government for abandoning the people of Bakassi and promised he will resettle them. But up till now, the people of Bakassi are still not resettled. And then, of course, 10th of April 2018, while signing the 1.3 trillion budget of kinetic crystallization, the governor called on his essay on religious affairs. He's a reverend father, a very gentle man in the Catholic Church, Reverend Father Bob. He asked him to pray. And while Father Bob was praying, the governor also broke down into tears because he was lamenting the state of poverty in Cross River State. So our governor is used to crying. So it is only those who have not followed him that will be carried away by those tears. But nevertheless, we must give it to him. Governor Ayade is a very emotional person. He cares about people, and he wishes that he had a magic wand that he could just flip so that all problems will be solved. But even when he got the power to take these decisions, he became carried away. And he thought that he could run a government with emotions.
Now, let me ask you.
He refused to respect bureaucracy. He refused to follow.
Sorry to interject you. Let me ask you this. I mean, if you can hear me, Jalingo, you heard what the governor said there. The governor basically indicted his political appointees, so to speak. And this is a governor who's fond of making, huge number of political appointments. The other time he made about close to 80 or 40 political appointments. Now, this same political appointees, he is blaming for not carrying out, for not implementing the law. And so he's decided to set up this agency. But then the question you ask, because we've heard that, look, these appointees are only appointed, but they are never funded. So if you do not fund these appointees, the fact is that they definitely would just look for ways to fund themselves. And maybe that's the reason why the appointees would breach the law and go to collect taxes from these low-income earners. So the question is, why does he find it difficult to take action against these political appointees rather than set up another committee?
Well, you see, I don't even want to blame the appointees. I think basically that our governor is confused. I say that with all sense of responsibility, DEJI. The governor cannot turn himself to the law. And on many occasions, that's exactly what the governor of our state has attempted to do. There's a tax law in Cross River State. No governor, no public official anywhere in the world has a right to abolish taxes. Taxation is a law. just like appropriation. If you want to abolish taxes, you either repeal that law or go and amend it. No governor is given the power to sit down and say, I want to abolish taxes. That is like the monarchical and messianic thinking that our governor has assumed in Cross River State. And it is very, very dangerous. So I don't want to blame his aides. I first of all want to blame him for not being in charge of his emotions and not understanding that in public office there are rules and regulations, there's bureaucracy, there are methods that you need to use. See, taxation is not a burden. Taxation is our right. It is part of the gamut of the things that give us access to ask questions in the public field. That is what makes us citizens. And any government that denies us the opportunity of paying our taxes should be resisted. What we can call for is tax rebate. We can call for tax holiday. We can call for reduction in taxes. But if government, for instance, DEJI, Cross River State makes less than 1 billion naira IGR every month. And we are one of the least 3 states in terms of federal allocation from Abuja. And then a governor wakes up and say he wants to abolish taxes. That is not magnanimity. That is naivety. I think that it is not one of the things that Cross River State needs now.
But in this case, Jalingo, look, it's the law in Cross River State that these very low-income earners are exempt from paying. They are exempt from paying taxes. It's a law. I mean, it's the law there that Okada riders are not supposed to pay. It's the law. It's a law. You talked about that law that was passed in 2017. Even the governor himself confirmed that it's the law. But the problem he has is that the law has been consistently breached by his political appointees, and he thinks the solution to the problem is to set up a committee that hasn't got statutory powers now to do.
That's actually incompetence. That's actually incompetence, DG, because our governor for the past 5 years, just like his copycat in Abuja, he doesn't know how to punish anybody. There was one day a woman was alleged to have stopped prayers, morning prayers in the secondary and primary schools across the state. She was the director in the Ministry of Education. The governor called and said, I'm sacking her. 30 minutes after, he called back and said, I just spoke with her and I feel very sorry for her and I'm not going to sack her again. I told him, I said, you cannot run a state government with emotions. If people have done wrong and they need to be disciplined, discipline them. But Governor Ayade does not know how to discipline anybody. It's a lawless government. Nobody ever gets punished in his government. And you can't even contain 8,000 appointees. He prides himself in having the highest number of commissioners. And they don't respect his orders. This is one governor I see that he will direct you to a commissioner. And the commissioner will tell you, I will not respect that directive. Tell him I said so. And nothing ever happens. People disrespect all kinds of orders in this government, and this governor is not in the mood to punish anybody. So even this one, he said this same thing in 2017, and people continue to collect taxes till today. Nothing is going to change. Governor Ayade is not going to punish anybody. Small businesses are still going to be harassed. The revenue points will continue to flourish in Cross River State. See, DEJI, he gave that order day before yesterday. This morning, if you check my Facebook wall and on my Twitter handle, taxi drivers are still being harassed. Tickets were still being sold today. Ticket drivers are still being harassed. The tax officials are still on the street today, 22nd of May, 2020.
You know what? Let's take a quick break now. We'll be right back to continue this discussion. This is quite interesting. Stay with us. On DEJI 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
DEJI 360, providing clarity to issues. All right, welcome back. We're still discussing the Cross River State situation with Governor Ben Ayade, of course, his new law on taxation, or his new take now on taxation in that state. And I still have Jalingo Agua with me in, of course, he's joining me via Skype. Jalingo, let's talk about this agency now that has been set up, an agency of religious leaders, so to speak. And the governor made it clear that a thorough scrutiny was carried out, and before those people, I mean, the religious leaders now were chosen. You think this agency would make any difference at all? Because according to the governor now, the way the agency is supposed to operate is that when people harass these low-income earners, all they need to do is, or if tax people came to them, all they need to do is go to this agency and say, look, I'm being asked to pay this or that. Am I supposed to do it? You think that can make the difference?
Did you see the State Board of Internal Revenue is saddled with the responsibility of determining who is supposed to pay tax, how much you are supposed to pay, based on what you earn. And I think that the law has settled that with the Cross River State Internal Revenue Board. And I'm first of all disappointed in those religious leaders who want to join our governor to fool themselves. Because it is enough for them to tell their followers in their various congregations what they need to do about taxation. Taxation is biblical, as a matter of fact. Jesus asked his followers to pay to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. And that is part of the duties of religious leaders, part of what they are supposed to teach us in the congregations. It is not until they are called to come and sit down like they are sitting down with. I feel ashamed when I see them here. At a time like this in Cross River State, I will expect they don't have these powers. The governor is just duplicating power. He's making them feel good. It's just a feel-good moment for these people. I don't know what he means by calling these people. Call them as what? Under what law? The governor doesn't have powers by himself to make new laws. And you set up an agency that has not been created by the Cross River State House of Assembly, an agency that has no backing in the law. And some of these religious people, clergy, that they are respected men of God who, as a matter of fact, are very educated. In fact, I can see Father Ayade there. He's a lecturer in the University of Calabar, a very senior lecturer in that university. And then when you see respected and educated men like this, always lending themselves to be used for political laundering like this, I feel very, very ashamed. And I want to tell these religious leaders that wherever God is, he will not be proud of them. Because at a time like this, when there's confusion in our state, when our leader is confused, they are supposed to tell this man the truth. Even the governor himself has confessed that he has failed after 5 years. And if people like this who are religious leaders refuse to tell him the truth, he is going to keep wallowing in this darkness for the next 3 years. And he will spend 8 years without doing anything for us in Cross River State. And it is people like them that God will hold responsible. I mean, they should stop fooling this man. There is no such thing as tax exemption. There is no such thing as tax exemption. And I don't know why they will accept to come and deceive this man. If his political appointees, other people are deceiving him, we assume that they have the anointing of God. They have the light of God in them. They should be able to tell our governor the truth, rather than deceiving him in a manner. Okay, they want him to cry tears. He has cried. He has been crying all this while. What has the tears brought for Cross River State? And I think that they are the people that I am ashamed of. I am actually happy that the governor has accepted that he has failed after 5 years. But it is these people that should guide him. But if they refuse to guide him, God will ask for his blood from the hand when he is 8 years. Now, but I must say that our government is in need of help. Whoever can help to give, this is the right time to do that.
Now, the governor made it clear, I mean, that, look, he had very lofty ideas for the state, you know, and that his dream was to ensure that he never imagined that anyone in Cross River State will be living in thatch houses. And then he has just 3 years to go. How much, I mean, now that he's realized he has failed. I mean, that's coming from him now. Now that he's realized that he's failed for the past 5 years, he has 3 years to go, if not less than that. What difference do you think he can make? And what would you say to him?
He actually has 1,103 days. I don't like counting it by years. I want to count the years as months, count the months as weeks, and of course count the weeks as days. And as a matter of fact, count the days as hours. And he has 1,103 days left. And I want to tell him that 3 years is still a lot of time. But he needs to stop running that state with his emotions. He's been too emotional, and he has used his emotions for 5 years, thinking that he can help the poor by putting food on their table. No, it has never happened anywhere. the governor needs to be firm and deal with his appointees. All these 8,000 appointees, food on the table stuff is not working. Let him ask people who have nothing to do in government to go and sit down at home. Get a smart team of people who can help him to do the bit he can do in the remaining 3 years. He should forget about all these mega this, super that, mega this, and super that. The reality is that post-COVID-19, he may not even have the little he's getting from Abuja at the moment. So he needs to come down and tell himself the truth and stop hallucinating and work within the reality. All those I money, intellectual money, G money, green money, other people's money, those things are just highfalutin grammar. None of that can be brought down to reality at this moment. So he needs to come down to the little that he's getting from Abuja and see how much he can do. He should stop talking about building an airport, a 1,000 hectares airport, second to Heathrow in London. Where is he going to bring the money from? Where does he even have the time? Let my governor come down to the reality that is facing him. Use the little that he's having to do the basic things that the people of Cross River State need and leave all the mega and the super things for the next person that will come after him. He has lost a lot of time, like he has said himself, and let him just look for the bit that he can do to leave an impression in the hearts of our people. But for now, it is obvious that the people around him and the number of people he's carrying around will not tell him the truth. He doesn't know how to punish people. People are doing a lot of rubbish in his government, and he's handling them with kid gloves. He himself, there's a lot of corruption in his government, and the only people he can punish are those who are telling him the truth. If he does not retrace his steps, honestly speaking, his retirement is going to be very miserable. And these tears that he's shedding, he is going to really shed the hot ones when that time comes. So he needs to retrace his steps. That is what I need to tell him now. 3 years is still a lot of time. And I hope that he will be able to do the right thing when he still has the opportunity.
And if you ask me, I think you've actually been fair to him to give him this advice, considering what he also did to you. I mean, you know, it's fair enough, and that's.
He's my brother. We will get back.
that's just the truth. That's just the truth, anyway. Jalingo, thank you very much for joining us on the program.
God bless you.
Well, that's it. If you want to watch it again, it's very simple. All you need to do is go to TV360nigeria.com. You'll see this program and lots more there. You can also follow the conversation on our various social media platforms. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.